Hi guys, and this is already the conclusion video from Bellum Lacum, so this went quick. I enjoyed this making this battle report. I hope you enjoyed watching them. They were really interesting. So let's move on with the result and list analysis. So the result, we finished third place. As you can see, it was really close. From the top 9 team, there is only 17 points between the Swiss Roots and TRCX who won the tournament, so it was really close. We came up third, same point as TRC, second spot, and TRCX won it. So congrats to them. I put some stars, so the team that we face, so a good mix between team that finish middle-ish to the top. And this was quite funny because we between the top 3 team, we beat TRC. TRC beat TRCX, and TRCX beat us. So everybody beat each other. It's like a round, and we finish really close to each other. But also, yeah, Ottenbach and Dream were also close to us. So quite happy because it was the target that I set to my team. I told them we'll try to go for the podium. We went actually close to winning it. We weren't that far away from it, but it was good learning experience for us. And also really happy with the performance and especially the commitment from the team. But I will talk more about that at the end. On the left, I've put for you the top 5 single performance during the tournament. It's not the most relevant data, but yeah, I was happy to achieve the most points in the tournament, obviously. Also close to me, you can see Benji, and mostly what was interesting for me to analyze with this data was the fact that you don't see the usual suspects in the top team, in the top armies of the tournament. Basically, we have 2-time Ogre list, and Benji's list and mine are not that offensive list. I would have expected maybe some other type of Ogre list to feature here, like Borscha's list, for example. And then we have Dwarvenhold, Orc and Goblins, and ID, so not the most offensive faction. So that was quite surprising for me, but that were the people that achieved the most points. Yeah, and the rest, that's it. Let's move on to my beloved matrix, so like I call it, unit impact analysis. Love it because it allows me to analyze in detail which unit did. So yeah, overall it's quite green. Not used to that, but obviously, yeah, the list performed very well, and I wasn't disappointed by any of the choice. But to go more into detail, so the Great Khan, basically it's either the game where he had more to do, he did a great job, but no very hard combat for him. He had no big challenge or stuff like that. These were combat where I expected him to perform well, and he did. And the rest, basically, he did a lot of zoning to help with the tribe star to zone the opponent, basically, and he did that well. So I was quite happy about the build and his role in the list, basically. And like I said already, leadership 9 is needed in this type of list, definitely, with 3 blocks that are worth a lot of points. I think definitely need leadership 9. BSB, yeah, in italic because I did a big mistake that cost me the BSB, but other than that, I'm quite happy. Cult leader, there was a question mark for me whether or not cult leader was needed, but definitely it offers a bit more flexibility in deployment. It's a fragile BSB, but always useful with the shots. Maybe I need to increase a little bit the MR. And good news from the update, my list won a couple of points, not a lot, like 15-20 points outside of core, so maybe that will allow me to up to MR 3 or 4, which would be nice. My shaman, yeah, I was happy at what provided me my magical setup. I was already convinced by Thaumaturgy because I love this lore, but after having played Shamanism the most part of last year, I was quite happy to switch and get a little bit of more range damage pressure. CC buff wise, I thought I had enough to buff my combat, to be honest. I didn't need more than that. With 3 buff, Rod of Battle, Hereditary Smite were enough buffs in my games. Wrath of God has a huge impact in some games, so I was happy to have it. I made some calculation and discussion with my Swiss teammate. I have a couple of mates from Swiss ETC that are mathematicians, so they're quite good at making statistics. And I wanted to check what were the likelihood to miscast with 3 dice in Thaumaturgy and likelihood to miscast 666 with 3 dice Thaumaturgy. And basically, to miscast 3 dice 666, rerolling the ones, it's less than 1%, and to miscast at all, it's like 3 or 4%, if I remember correctly, so not much. So I just wanted to check about my risk management, if basically I was slightly unlucky or above average in my miscast roll, because I had 2 times 666, 2 times 555, and I checked. So I had 5 games, 6 turns, which is 30 magic phases, and cast on average 2 spells on 3 dice per phase, which is like 60 roll on 3 dice. So I should have had maybe 1 miscast, but not much more than that. So definitely I had a bit more miscast than expected, but that was just good for me to check, just to be sure that my risk management was okay. And I think the times that I cast 3 dice at the end of the games, it was still worth it, considering the risk that was quite low. It was just slightly above average, and this in my mind, that was, I asked myself if I had been taking too many risks or not. Also quite happy with this block of tribesmen. There is a good complementary role between the Great Khan that brings strength 7 multiple wound, and these guys that bring a lot of strength 4 attacks that strike at agility. The darts, yeah, I didn't use them as much as I could have to open games maybe sometimes, but in this game was not needed. Basically in this one, flags, so not fags, flags, but I couldn't use them to open the game. The last one, where the game, maybe I could have used them slightly more, but then in my other game, yeah, they had some roll and some combat and stuff, so I was always happy with this unit, but I can definitely improve my game in using them. Then we have 4 Tusker, my tournament MVP. Basically they won the big fights, they were against strong character, big monsters, they zone well. Big footprint can be an issue, but with the proper buff, the fact that I have the banner, which is already a buff, then you add 1 or 2 buff, basically they are very, very good in combat. So that was a very nice surprise for me. Merc Vets, yeah, they didn't do so much from range, but in the all, I think 3 games I dropped first turn, and 3 times the opponent had minimized, basically. So that means that everybody is outside of 30 from them, which is pushing the opponents away. Then in combat they are still decent. They didn't have anything significant to fight, or any fight that, yeah, they fight and killed. Against War of the Dark God, they killed the Wretched, so they had this game where they fight a little bit, but other than that they didn't fight at all. They just shot and zone and stuff. But it's always a very versatile unit that is helpful. I could have maybe improved sometimes my game between if I want to deploy my Tusker on the strong flank, or the opposite. Do I want to put my shots to completely block a zone, and then have my Tusker more as a piece also to open games and get into combat, and then use the Death Star as a second unit. What I've been doing mostly in these games have been to have the Tusker on the strong flank, Death Star, and then Merc Vets to close a little bit the middle of the board, and then try to push from the sides. That's something I've been doing a lot, but I think I should try also some other combination with, like I told against War of the Dark God, maybe Death Star on the flank, or configuration against Vermin Swarm, where I should have had, I put them on the weak flank, so to say, as a zoning threat. I could have used them on the strong flank to push, and the opposite is true maybe against Demon Legion. I also thought about that after the battle report, but I could have changed the place with the Merc Vets to have an opening on the secondary at some points maybe, and use the Merc Vets to close the side, basically. So there are some options in the configuration where I put all 3 main pieces of the list, where I can still improve and try other stuff. Tiger, yeah, mandatory chaff piece. Frost Mammoth was good. I mean, it's a flexible piece. I can sacrifice him if needed. I didn't use Aura at all, which was a bit of a surprise for me. I could definitely have used it slightly more, but I wanted him in the flank to be a flexible piece to move. So yeah, he's definitely still a good monster alone. And yeah, Giant was useful for me. So it doesn't always do much, but in the game that are quite close, didn't do much, but in the other game it was always helpful. Very good in the games against Demon and War of the Dark God to slow down, move around, threaten stuff. So it was really a precious piece on my weak flank, basically. Secondary wise, so I won 3 of them and draw 2. Yeah, which is okay. I mean, I expected to be strong on the secondary that are in relation with a control of the board, which was the case. So that was still a good news for me. And estimation, so yeah, this one I rated it as a yellow, but definitely it was a green. I wasn't too aware of the matchup, but definitely it's a green. And the other 4, I rated them as yellow. Still think it was the right decision, since the VS could be better, but not on flags basically. And the other 3, 2 of them quite unstable, and the Ogre Khan, it's a mirror match, change a lot who start the game. General conclusion, nothing disappointed me. Definitely I made some changes, I wanted to try out the Tusker, and that was definitely a good list, at least for me, and according to my play style. It was really, I felt comfortable to play the list. Basically I have a lot of experience with the list between Mercvets, Tribesmen, some darts and monsters. That's something I've been playing a lot, like last year. So it was not too complicated for me to change a couple of stuff and add a unit of Tusker in the list. I was quite quick to maneuver the list, and I was able to finish all my game despite timeout, so that was definitely not a problem for me. Strong combat power means also be good on most secondary objective, which is always nice. Thaumaturgy will always be slightly more risky, but definitely I'm very happy to have moved to Thaumaturgy. I didn't miss the cannon between Thaumaturgy, Hunting Spears, Poison Shot, Kagadai, great weapon on Tusker. I felt I had enough tool to deal with big monsters, and I had some good tests against Demon and War of the Dark God. So I didn't really felt I missed the cannon. Does that mean that the cannon is sucks? No, the cannon is still very, very good. But I just felt with a bit more combat like here, I was just more able to get more points basically. Finally, I didn't need to push with the Tribe Star, because basically like you saw first game, yeah, I didn't need to, I did enough with other unit. Then game 2 and 5 were quite standoff-ish, so didn't have really the occasion to do more. And then the 2 other game, basically my opponent came at me, so I didn't need really to push my Death Star, but things went crashing against it, so to say. I tried to adapt also my risk management between Mercvet with character, Tribe Star, and on the other hand Tusker, Giant, Frost Mammoth, Darts, where I took a bit more risk of the opening, because basically if I lose these pieces there was less points, and should allow then the other 2 high impact units to take more points in return. That was also sometimes the idea. Good deployment is vital for this list. If you just deploy the key pieces wrong, you have no ability to redeploy stuff, and it's just too late. So it's very important to deploy that right, and could, like I explained multiple times at the end of my battle report, could impact my ability to push or not push basically. There is definitely room of improvement in me using the darts better to open more games. Thinking about game 5, there were definitely possibilities maybe to do a bit more with the darts, and also room of improvement regarding deployment details, where I could have done options that were slightly better. But all these things are, yeah, kind of, they are important. Like I said multiple times, I think despite the fact that I've done a good tournament, everything is good, I'm happy with the list, but still there are room for improvement. I could have done stuff better. There is always stuff that you can do better, and that's interesting to analyze for me. And it's also my main focus, always try to improve. Despite the good score, yeah, I'm happy, okay, cool, but what could have done better? That's the interesting part. So I hope you like the analysis. Thanks a lot for my teammates. Took a couple pictures with them. Here with our trophies. We're quite happy to reach the target and be on the podium. That was cool. And now I will leave you with a photo gallery. I have my friend, the organizer, that sent me a gallery with all the pictures of armies and stuff. So if you want to learn a bit more about what happened at the event and see some of the cool armies that were there, they are very nice armies. Just enjoy. I've put music for you. Thanks a lot for watching all my battle reports and conclusion video as well, and talk to you soon on the channel. Bye bye.
How can life be what you want it to be? You're frozen when your heart's not open. If I could make your heart, we'd never be apart.
You're just like my favorite song going round and round my head. Like my favorite song going round and round my head. 5 days on the freeway, riding shotgun with you. Yeah. 2 hearts in the fast lane, we had big dreams in blue. Yeah. Playing Sweet Child of Mine, and I still feel that line. Where are you now? Where are you now? Hey, it's been too long ago, my love. Where did we go wrong? Too late to turn around. Where are you now? Where are you now? Hey, it's been too long. You're just like my favorite song going round and round my head. Like my favorite song going round and round my head. You're just like my favorite song going round and round my head. Like my favorite song going round and round my head. Hey, it's been too long. Some days I can feel it, but the feeling ain't all blue. You got me believing one day you gotta come through. Lost in these city lights, 'cause I can't sleep tonight. Where are you now? Where are you now? Hey, it's been too long ago, my love. Where did we go wrong? Too late to turn around. Where are you now? Where are you now? Hey, it's been too long. You're just like my favorite song going round and round my head. Like my favorite song going round and round my head. You're just like my favorite song going round and round my head. Like my favorite song going round and round my head.